So I'm in a wheelchair. I'm paralyzed waist down. The doctor did a spinal tap too high when I was 9 months old, and that caused me to be paralyzed. I know I'll be able to lead a normal life, have a job, have work, drive. I don't view every day, okay, I'm disabled, but I do have a disability.
I was born with a malformation in my spine. I really didn't mind that I was in a wheelchair. The opposite, I felt like being in a wheelchair, it really could be a better thing. I'm from like walking around like I walk around, with crutches, I'm all over the place. And like the only thing that mattered to me was if he was, a good person that I could respect.
In the beginning, no one called. As years were going by and the shidduchim were getting less and less compatible, I definitely was okay, like, how is it going to happen? But not like if it's going to happen. The if wasn't the question. The question was how. How and when. It got to a point where there was no calls and no anything. So a group of friends got together and they called every day a different shidduchim. They called and called till one shidduchim suggested Miriam Fink.
I was in Camp Simcha Special as a staff. And Miriam came over to the workshop and she said, Chani, I have to tell you something, that she went out with this boy and it wasn't for her. I should go out with him. Right after camp, we went out. I enjoyed the way he thought and being with him. And then for second session, which was a month later, I went back engaged. Okay.
And how long have you been married for?
6 years.
Very exciting. New coupon alert. Now, if you've been dreaming of owning a luxury watch, upgrading your fragrance collection, or picking out that perfect pair of sunglasses, yeah, I know you want one. JOMASHOP has got you covered. It's crazy. They've been around since 1999 and have over 1 million 5-star reviews. No exaggeration. So imagine this. You're looking for that iconic Rolex or a mega watch, or perhaps a new Versace perfume. JOMASHOP has all of these and more. They offer everything from high-end fashion to stunning jewelry, all at unbelievable prices. And the crazy part is that there's up to 75% off savings. So you can enjoy the finest luxury items without searching outside of your budget. And the best part is that JOMASHOP has something for everyone. They have over 1,000 iconic brands. And it doesn't matter what you're looking for, if it's for you or a loved one, they have it. So now let's talk about the Stories of Hope special offer. If you've been thinking about celebrating an occasion, maybe a milestone, an anniversary, or a new relationship, this is your chance. Use the SOH20 for $20 off your order of $250 or more at JOMASHOP.com. It's the perfect way to make a special moment with a timeless piece. So see the show notes below, type in SOH20 to get $20 off your item of $250 and more. And be sure to keep a lookout for this Black Friday to get up to 75% off retail prices. JOMASHOP.com.
Okay, crazy news. Do you want a chance to win a free car lease? I know, that's right. You heard me correctly. PZ Deals, the app you downloaded last week for the best deals, is giving away a free car lease to a lucky winner. All you need to do is download the app, click the banner that says free car lease, and follow the instructions. I just did it. It took me 1.5, maybe 2 minutes, and I hope to be the lucky winner. Not only that, if you want Black Friday sales at your fingertips from the comfort of your home, you don't need to waste time scrolling and running. If you have the PZ Deals app, it's so super easy. They have the best deals from multiple companies. Whatever you want, they probably have it. So make this Black Friday the easiest, most successful Black Friday by downloading the PZ Deals app and maybe even being the lucky winner of a free car lease.
Hi, I'm Tzipora Grodko, and this is the Stories of Hope podcast. I am so excited to have the pleasure to have Chani and Avrumi here, all the way from Monsey, New York. Thank you for taking the time to come in today. I know that you have a lot to share with us, and I'll start with you, Chani. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, your background, and help us get to know who you are.
So I grew up in Argentina, Buenos Aires. My parents went there, Chabad Shidduchim. to help the Jewish community. My father and my mother both work in chinuch there, principal of the Chabad school for more than 30 years.
Your first language is Spanish.
Yes, my first language is Spanish, even though my parents spoke to us in English in the beginning, Yiddish a little bit, but my first language is Spanish, yeah. And people, sometimes think like maybe I'm Israeli because I have some kind of accent, but yeah, Spanish. And then, so I grew up there.
When you grew up in Argentina, were you the only Orthodox family there?
No. We moved to help the community that was already there. So the Chabad community is very big. There's a lot of communities. It's one of the biggest, the 5th country in the world with Jewish people. So there's tons of Yidden.
The fifth largest country in the world with Jewish people?
Yes.
Argentina.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Yes. Tons of Yidden came after the pogroms, and people came also from the Middle East. There's a lot of Jewish people. And so we grew up in a neighborhood with tons of, we went to school with, there were 12 girls in my class. It was a, nice size high school. Yeah. So.
Okay. And you were born with your disability?
Yeah. I was born with a malformation in my spine. It took a few years till they found out what it was. And I have it since childhood. Yeah, it was congenital.
So it was ever since you were born?
Yes. A malformation that happened when I was in my mother's, uterus. So, yeah.
And for those that don't understand, can you explain a little bit about what it is?
Basically, it's called AVM, arteriovenous malformation. Was that the veins and the arteries get tangled. It can happen anywhere in the body, but this happened in the spine. And then it prevented the oxygen and the blood flow from the brain to the feet, to the lower limbs. And it caused weakness in the lower limbs. So since then, it's called paraplegia. It caused paraplegia, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And we'll pause you right here. Romy, tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and how you grew up.
All right. So I'm from Monsey. I grew up in Monsey, New Skver Chassid. Nothing that interesting as Chani. Didn't grow up anywhere exotic.
Well, I think Skver Chassid is pretty exotic to many people, even though it's not from Argentina.
Yeah, went to the Chabad in Skver. Just a basic life.
Mm-hmm. So many people listening might not be familiar with Skver at all. Can you tell them a little bit about what it's like?
So it's a small, not so small anymore, shtetl here near Monsey. It's only Jews live there, only Skver Chassidim. They have everything there. The chabad is there, the shul, the groceries, everything is there. So basically you're surrounded the whole time in a Jewish community.
And what makes Skver Chassidus different than any other Chassidus?
It comes from Skver, originally from Russia. Every Chassidus comes from a different dynasty, different place. But it is pretty similar to other Chassidim.
Mm-hmm.
Not that much different than everyone else.
So I'm from Monsey, grew up locally in Monsey. And to me, Skver and Argentina are as exciting. So don't sell yourself short. They're both very different. And I'm sure a lot of people listening are excited to hear about it too. And tell us a little bit about your disability.
So I'm in a wheelchair. I'm paralyzed waist down. The doctor did a spinal tap too high when I was 9 months old. And that caused me to be paralyzed.
So ever since you were born, you've been in
since 9 months old, yeah.
Okay.
Actually got my first wheelchair at 4, but yeah.
Wow, 4 years old.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what that looks like. Can you help us understand what does that look like for a 4-year-old to be in a wheelchair?
So I don't remember too much from back then. I do remember choosing my first wheelchair, and I chose the color purple. That was my favorite color. But yeah, I mean, once I had it, I was able to go around, roll around, just like any other kid. Just I guess faster on wheels.
And when you, as a kid in school, sometimes kids can be insensitive because they don't understand something. What was that like for you growing up?
Baruch Hashem, I have an amazing group of friends. I never felt bullied or anything ever. It's really, really nice.
Wow.
Really nice experience, nice childhood.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing. And now is obviously the fun part, even though all of it is fun. Chani, when you started dating, I don't know where you were living, Argentina, New York, doing shlichus in Jamaica. Tell us a little bit about where you were at and what it was like for you.
I went to seminary in Crown Heights after I was 18. And then I stayed on the San Base and I worked for the seminary in the dorm. And then I wanted to get married, of course. I wanted to stay in Crown Heights, for shidduchim and, where the action is happening. So slowly we started contacting shadchanim.
And as you were connecting to shadchanim, did you have any resistance? Did you have any expectation that was set for you because of where you're from and the disability that you have?
So,
by the way, I'm going to interrupt myself. Yeah. I don't know if I'm even using the right terminology. Would you call it a disability? Would you call it something else? I want to be sensitive and I want to be educational for anyone listening to understand.
I would call it disability or physical challenge.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel most comfortable with, both of you?
Me, disability. It is a disability, and just own up to it. It's for me. It is myself. I mean, I don't view every day, okay, I'm disabled, but I do have a disability.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, that's me. So ever since I know myself, that's me.
And same for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for telling us.
A physical disability.
Because I think people always want to be sensitive and kind, and we don't know until someone lets us know. So thank you for telling me. So as you were saying, you just started dating, and my question is, did you receive any resistance or discomfort because of your disability?
So in my head, I was and I am like everyone else. I don't see myself walking. So I'm, like everyone else. Until then, I was doing what everyone else was doing. I didn't go to seminary in Israel because I thought it was going to be hard, like the walking, but I did end up going to seminary by myself. But so then it came something that people didn't were thinking of suggesting anyone who was in the normal and what's normal, category. It was just had to be somebody with a physical or a disability. And that was a big blow for me, for my self-esteem or all my beliefs as a person, because I always saw myself as like everyone else, I'm your friend, I'm your, I don't know, work with you, I'm your student, and suddenly like you're not an option, basically. So that was a disappointment. But I guess I still believed in myself and that I could, one day, it's going to happen, and just wait and see what's going to happen. But yeah.
And where did you get the confidence that you would get what you wanted?
Yes.
Even while people told you that things might be different and challenging because of your disability?
Because I wanted to have a good life, and I knew that I able to and I deserve it. Mm-hmm. Like there's no reason why I shouldn't marry somebody that I would be happy with and contribute. And
you knew that it was what you deserved in your heart, and because you knew you deserved it.
Yeah, not that I deserved it, but that there's no reason why not. Yeah.
So other people's judgments didn't influence your belief. Like you were thinking, well, there's no reason why I shouldn't, and they thought, well, I'll give you a few reasons why you shouldn't.
So one lady that I worked with, she called me the day after I got engaged, and she said, "Chani, what were you thinking all this time?" I'm like, it wasn't even a question for me. Like, well, I'm not gonna get married. Well, I'm gonna get married to somebody that that I don't respect, I don't appreciate. Like, why shouldn't it happen to me? Why somebody else could happen? Why isn't that gonna happen to me?
So, well.
But then I was talking to Avrumi over Shabbos about it, and he was trying to point out why somebody wouldn't want somebody with disability. But it took me all these years. I'm like, oh, you're right. But till now, I'm like, I was angry. I'm like, why wouldn't somebody want me? Yeah, I'm like, I have all these things to offer, and I'm like, somebody,
Yeah.
So you didn't see yourself as Chani with a disability. You saw
Not at all.
yourself as Chani with all of the other strengths that you have.
Yes, and I happen to have a disability that it's hard for me to walk, but I have so many things to offer, and to give and to receive and to be part of. So
Yeah. And do you have any specific memory in mind of a time when you were talking to a person who made you believe otherwise, who, when you started dating and when you had your dreams, they made you believe that you might need to settle for something you don't want?
just maybe like when people would suggest someone who had like a social difference, that would get me down, because I believe like I'm cognitive like everyone else, and emotionally and mentally. And if somebody would suggest somebody that it's a little bit different, what's the norm, that would be offensive. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't understand that there's no reason why the two should go together.
Yeah, but for people that was like disability, it's all the same. And this is what there is. So there is, this person who can really, let's say, be in the same category, like have regular conversation with other people, or, was affected by different things. Okay, maybe it's a good candidate for her, disability. And that was, which there could be, they're very good people, but this is not, I was looking for somebody who I could be in my level and respect. And so that was the biggest point.
Yeah, so it's really important that people know that just because someone has a disability doesn't mean that all disabilities should go together. All disabilities are compatible.
Yeah.
The same way with people, sometimes people say, oh, he's a girl, she's a guy, why shouldn't it work? I don't know, he's Sephardi, she's Sephardi, why shouldn't it work? People are so much more complex, and I think people feel respected when they're seen as who they are, not what they look like or where they come from or what they struggle with.
But that's why, like in general, it was little bit hard. Like the only option is with somebody with disability. And of course, like it's not, I wouldn't mind somebody with disability, of course, married someone with disability. But it's not every disability goes with everything. But in general, also, I think that sometimes people see people with disabilities and they make assumptions that other things don't work, or, everyone falls into the same category of disability. And people with disabilities are, it's very diverse. And if somebody can't, even people would say you can, verbalize, but you don't know, maybe like, they still understand, they still think like it's not like all or nothing. You're disabled. That's it. You can't do anything. It's one part of somebody's being.
And we should all see it that way, just as one small part, not just because it's so visible to us doesn't mean it's all of who they are.
Yeah, but it jumps out. You see me, you see disability,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. It's so important.
We'll be right back to our episode, but first, you have to check out Pizza Biza, making fresh hot pizzas on the spot by their professional chefs, indoor or outdoor in their pizza ovens, meat or dairy, plus full catering around the tri-state area and Florida. Specializing in events with several hundred people with no lines. You heard right. Full menu. You have to check them out on Instagram at Pizza Biza and visit them at pizzabiza.com. Best part, mention Meaningful Minute and get $500 off your next event. Pizza's my favorite food, so please invite me, Pizza Biza, on Instagram, and check them out at pizzabiza.com. Say Meaningful Minute and get $500 off your next event. These are the people you want to call. Pizza Biza, I'll see you at my next event. If you're getting married or know someone getting married, let's talk about one of the most meaningful parts of a Jewish wedding, the kasuba. For some people, you may have seen it just as a regular piece of paper, but this is actually a symbol that represents the harmony, the beauty of your relationship. Ketubah.com takes your kasuba and turns it into the beautiful piece of art that it really is. With over 500 different designs and artists from all over the world, you can personalize the perfect kasuba of your dreams with a team that works intimately with you, making sure that your design and your words are exactly what you want. Ketubah.com guarantees a kasuba that's probably better than you even dreamed. The best part is, if you go to ketubah.com and type in SOH25, you'll receive free shipping on your kasuba that may be flying in from Australia, London, even South Africa. Get this beautiful design as a gift or for yourself from ketubah.com. Make sure to type in SOH25 to receive free shipping and find the link in the bio below. Get your beautiful piece from ketubah.com today. Avrumi, tell us a little bit about what your experience was like when you started dating.
So in the circle in Skver, you start by 18, 19, and there's basically like a list. All the boys and all the girls are on a list, and all the shidduchim start calling and start suggesting shidduchim. And within the first week, like there's a lot, like it pops, then it slows down, but usually within a year or two, the majority is married.
On that list.
Engaged and married, yeah. I mean, there's always a few exceptions, but for me, I wasn't even on that list. So there was, in the beginning, there weren't even any phone calls. No one called until, I would say, probably a year in or so. We started reaching out to shidduchim and the people we know, but it was a dead end. It would come in once in a while, come in a shidduch, and it wasn't even compatible. Just like Chani said, just disability, boom. But it wasn't even, it didn't even go anywhere after the first phone call. And we did look into everything. That's I'm a big believer in. Even if something looks like it's not the right match in the beginning, first just look into it. Don't just say no out of just, it doesn't make sense. It could be it's not, but just look into it and then see.
Mm-hmm.
So we did look into a lot of shidduchim, or not that many, but all over the years. But yeah, but it was basically no phone calls until we needed to reach out and to make phone calls and to send emails and to get phone numbers from shidduchim that deal with special needs, with disability.
Also, big differentiation.
Yeah.
Special needs and disability. Two completely different categories.
It falls under one category, but it's definitely, it's a big word, special needs. I mean, what is it really? It's
You have special needs. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I need a wheelchair. It's a special need.
I guess the way I think about it, whenever I hear the word associated, it's usually connected to, for me at least, like a cognitive disability.
Yeah.
When I hear that word. And so as you're saying, it falls under the same category, feeling a little defensive for you, unless I don't know. I'm thinking, really? I didn't know that.
It shouldn't. I mean, or that word is used very, very widely, but yeah.
And how did you, my heart feels so broken to hear that you weren't even on this list. I want to know if you can open up a little bit more about how you heard that information and why you think that was so.
So I never heard directly the information, but it just common sense. I mean, nobody calls, nobody suggests. Maybe I did hear years ago. I don't remember. I don't remember if I saw the list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. But nobody called, and especially none of the Skver Chassid called. It wasn't even an option.
And so what was that like for you? How did you feel as you heard your friends going out and here you didn't get a call?
It was definitely hard. I was lucky that my immediate group of friends didn't get engaged right away. So that definitely made it easier. We had that group. But eventually they did over the years. It was definitely hard. But I always knew I'm going to get married. I didn't see... That's how I saw my life. Just being married with kids, it's going to happen. I didn't know how and when and where, but I just knew it's going to happen.
How?
I just knew it.
You just knew it in your
I
heart.
don't know, yeah. It was just a part of me. Like, why wouldn't I? Wasn't even an option not to. I knew, I knew it's going to look different than maybe someone else, but it's going to happen.
And what would you say to someone? And there's a lot of people walking around who think, well, I've been waiting for so long. I haven't gotten the calls. I haven't gotten the match. Maybe it won't happen to me. And here you had every reason to feel that way, but you said, no, I knew it would. What might you tell someone that's struggling with that confidence?
I guess you got to do some inner work and try to build up confidence and try to do the best you could, reaching out to people and listening to shidduchim, even though you know it's not going to go out, or just be willing to go out the drop, and I guess believing in it, believing and doing the best you could, doing the best shidduchim you could.
Right. It sounds like it was almost a gift for you. Like it was just a belief that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like anything else. I mean, I know I'll be able to lead a normal life, have a job, have work, drive. It was the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And did anyone ever say anything to you that made you doubt that?
I didn't know. I don't think I ever doubted it. As the years were going by and the shidduchim were getting different and like different shidduchim were read and they were less and less compatible. I definitely was okay, like how is it going to happen? But not like if it's going to happen. The if wasn't a question. The question was how. How and when.
And how old were you when you met Chani?
I was 22.
And Chani, how old were you when you met Avrumi?
I was 26.
And tell us a little bit about that story. We'll start with you, Chani.
So I was in Camp Simcha Special as a staff. And I was in my workshop, I think it was Friday morning, and Miriam was doing canvas painting.
Miriam Fink. Yeah, thank you.
Miriam Fink was also a camper, but she came back as staff, like both staff that came back, so we were very close and we hung out a lot in camp. And she came over to the workshop and she said, Chani, I have to tell you something. My mother has been telling me to tell you, but she was embarrassed to tell me about it because she didn't want to be like disability. But my mother insisted, she wanted to tell me that she went out with this boy right before camp, a few days before, and it wasn't for her. And her mother was telling her to tell me that I should go out with him, that I should know about him. And she told me something very smart. She said, I don't want to tell you anything, my opinion, because I don't want you to go with conceptions, you know. She didn't agree in a few things that were very, from the outside, it didn't, I trusted her that if she went out with him, and she knew him, she thought that it would be a good option, so right away, I called my mother. I told them about Avrumi, about him, and she called Avrumi's very good friend, who was the in between, the shadchan, and we started finding out. And then right after camp, we went out.
Yeah.
And then for second session, which was a month later, I went back engaged.
Aw.
Yeah.
And when you heard that Avrumi was in a wheelchair, how did you feel about that?
I really didn't mind that he was in a wheelchair. The opposite, I felt like being in a wheelchair, it is really could be a better thing, a mila from walking around like I walk around, with crutches all over the place, and you're more, in your place and you could go forward. The only thing that mattered to me was if he was, a good person that I could respect, and I enjoyed the way he thought and being with him. And really, a wheelchair wouldn't make a difference to me. My father, when he heard that he has a wheelchair, he was like, "Oh, how are you gonna take out the garbage, or I don't know what else, managing the house?" And I said, "Don't worry, we'll manage that. I'm not worried about it. I always say, if your head is on your shoulders, if you could think and figure out, different challenges, then you'll figure out how to maneuver in a wheelchair." But that didn't bother me.
And how long have you been married for?
6 years.
And you've been managing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the garbage
think so.
stay in their house.
And Avrumi, what was it like for you when, was it Miriam who suggested Chani to you or Miriam's friend?
So by me, it got to a point where there was no calls and no anything. So a group of friends got together and they took a list of all shadchanim. I don't think it was that big of a list, but they tried to call. They called every day a different shadchan. They called and called till one shadchan suggested my friend, Miriam Fink. So we did the research, and so basically he was the shadchan. And I went out with her, and she said no. We had one date. She said no, and then she suggested to Chani. She suggested me to Chani, and I went through my friend afterwards. He was a shadchan.
And did it bother you that Chani was older than you?
No, age didn't bother me. Miriam was also older.
2 years older.
Yeah. No, so age is just a number. It depends on the level. Like you can have someone older, you can have someone younger. It all depends on what level you are.
Mm-hmm. Right, like it's supposed to reflect something, but at the end of the day, if you feel like you can connect in the same way, then it really isn't significant.
Especially 4 years at this age, really doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. And I appreciate people hearing that because I think it used to make a big difference. It used to mean something. And I find that that's so limiting when someone is considering options. I think when someone's 60 and 64, it doesn't really matter. 70 and 64, even now, in any stage. And when you heard that Chani had a disability, what were you think? What were your thoughts?
So I always wanted someone with a disability. Actually, as my sister-in-law asked me once, why do you want someone with a disability? You can get anyone. I told her, no, I don't want someone with a disability. I want someone who I can understand, she can understand me. We do have challenges, and it's something someone with a disability can understand, versus someone else might understand, but doesn't know how it is. She's not living through it. It's different when someone lives through it. Obviously, not every disability works with every disability, but I definitely want a disability.
There's a lot out there when it comes to Judaica art. And you may have been at weddings or corporate events where you've seen personalized items and benchers, and they were okay, the basics. But if you're looking for something better, then you want to call Simchanim. Simchanim doesn't just give you a product, but they give you a piece of art. And that's why I have my own piece from Simchanim. Anything Simchanim does is with extra flair. So this sitter has gorgeous detailed leather, my favorite color of choice. It doesn't stop in the back. And my favorite part, aside from the personal engraving, is the details just never stop. When it comes to Simchanim, they go above and beyond. And you deserve it because that's what you're paying for. So if you're looking for products, benchers, siddurim, personalized items for your next simcha, your next celebration, or your next corporate events, you can find the link in the show notes below to reach out to Simchanim. Their customer care is a pleasure to work with, and you'll get what you deserve. Not just a product, but a beautiful piece of art. Call Simchanim for your next event. For so long, we've been taught to believe that you need to wait for things to change in order for life to get better. And you deserve to live the life of your dreams before things change. And that's what Live Better Academy is here for, enabling you to enrich your life by exploring the 5 core areas that contribute to your fulfillment and happiness. This course is here to make sure that you no longer need to wait. Exploring spirituality, health and wellness, recreation and soul, social support and environment, and your profession and ambition, my course helps you understand what you're missing, explore any gaps that need areas of improvement, and truly understand what you need to do to create the life that you deserve. It's a 5-week course, so you have to be fully committed. But the easy part is that it's all virtual. You can access it anywhere and anytime. It includes pre-recorded classes, intense coursework material to take the information, turn it into application, and ultimately transformation, and a live group class, which includes me and your peers. It's truly extraordinary, and I want you to be a part of it. So if you are interested, click the link below to schedule your free 15-minute consultation to see if it's the right fit for you, or send a quick text message to the number below to schedule your free 15-minute consultation. I cannot wait to meet you and be on this journey with you so that you can finally live life better.
Is there anything that's different or unique or personalized in your lives or in your home to accommodate your disability?
We have, for the walk-in closets, we made it a little wider.
Bath chair.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Literally, that's
The
it,
cars have hand control, and Avrumi, has a ramp in this car, but in the house, just a bath chair.
And I appreciate people hearing that, because again, I think when someone doesn't understand something in their head, it seems so like looming and confusing and ambiguous, and helps people understand, as you mentioned earlier, that as a person, you don't feel so different. And in your life, these are the differences.
So when we were looking for a house here in Muncie, I didn't do anything ever, because I wasn't here. So Avrumi went from house to house trying to look for a house. You couldn't find anything.
No, that was an issue. Having a walk-in. And a walk-in is not a walk-in with 2 steps. A walk-in is with 0 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to a lot of houses. It's listed a walk-in. Yes, I called. There's a walk-in. There's no steps. Fine. Go there. Yes, 3 steps to go into the basement. Or 2 steps to go up. It's not a walk-in. We definitely had a hard time finding an apartment here in Muncie. Mm-hmm. We found the last minute, Baruch Hashem. We were living there for 6 years.
And then when he found the apartment, the landowner, what is it called? Landlord, he didn't want to give it to him, because he said, how are you going to shovel the snow? And you're going to make bumps in the walls.
Oof.
And he made him pay double deposit. But we moved in anyways.
Yeah, I mean, our kids make way more bumps and color on the walls.
I was going to say, kids are a lot more chaotic. Yeah. Wow. I would have been very upset if I had. And
shoveling the snow, I have shoveled the snow plenty.
You get help.
The neighbors are willing to help. The neighbors are more than willing to do it. They love it. They clean our cars.
And speaking of help, I'm blown away at your friend group. It sounds like they really took initiative, and they really cared, and they asked themselves, what can we do to help Avrumi? Can you talk a little bit more about your friend group? I feel like they deserve a shout out.
They do. Shout out to the night walkers.
The night walkers.
And more, but yeah. But yeah, we're definitely close friends. They've helped me a lot through the years, and they still do. And we're really close. With everything, especially with shidduchim, that was the main.
They were all married when they were helping you with this?
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
And afterwards, for the wedding, they helped you?
Yeah, helping with the wedding.
Everything you needed, and
everything, even afterwards.
And I wonder if that's why you felt so confident that things would always work out for you, because you were surrounded by such good people that never made you feel otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, we went out together, we did stuff together, we did road trips together, always did everything together.
Also makes a difference, like our mothers, like when they raise you, like when my mother raised me, Avrumi's mother, like to be that confident, that you could do things, you're part of society, you have what to give.
You're just like everyone else, like all the other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing less to expect from you. It might be different. It might not be able to clean up the whole table or take out the garbage, or you could do other stuff.
And sometimes people don't even volunteer to do that. Even if they can, they won't even do the work. And it almost evens out the playing field, because there's this expectation that you should be able to do everything. but most people don't do everything. It's so valuable for people listening, if they have a friend that's single, to ask themselves, what can we do to help our friend? I always feel like sometimes when we're vulnerable, we need to borrow help from the future. We have to find strength from somewhere when we feel like we don't have it. And if someone feels like they have a lot to share, then what an opportunity to lend strength, to lend help to someone that can benefit, and look where it can lead. It's really special. Miriam, I met Miriam. Miriam is my age. She was my good friend's roommate. She was a beautiful person. Talk about someone that embodies that nothing's going to get in the way of them. And a real tribute to Miriam's family, Miriam's husband, anyone that was connected to her. I know you said you were good friends. And I actually was going to reach out to Miriam a week before she passed away.
Oh, wow.
To invite her on the podcast.
Yeah, she would have been great.
And I feel like she's a little bit here with us in your story.
I know.
It's a big part.
Yeah. Big stress.
Yeah, we owe it to her.
Yeah. And if there's someone who has a physical disability, they're in a wheelchair, they have some other physical handicap, and it sounds like you've been really privileged to have this confidence together that you would find love. Let's use that word, right? You wouldn't have to settle. You wouldn't have to choose someone because this is my option. You would find love. Imagine your child came to you and they were really scared they wouldn't find love, that they had a disability. What's some chizuk you can give someone that's right now in a wheelchair or with their handicap that's thinking, I want that? What might you tell them? And we'll start with you, Chani.
That Hashem can do anything. Like nothing is too small for him. And the same way, other people find it, you can find it too. Never give up.
Yeah.
For me, it might sound a little harsh, but it's not really. Just like, you're not the only one in the world dealing with this struggle. You might not want to hear it sometimes, but there are many more people with you. Like, I remember for me, sometimes it felt like I'm the only one in a wheelchair, the only one disabled. Yeah, I looked around, I knew many people in wheelchairs married and have kids and are successful. But when you're in it, you don't realize it. I think you're the only one going through the struggle.
No, I remember saying to somebody, like, it's so unfair, like it's really painful, and like you feel like it's really, like there's no option. So.
There are plenty. Just it's maybe a smaller pool and it's harder to find. It's more spread over, but you gotta find it and find it.
Somebody called me the other day. Like she's looking for a shidduch and she had a specific like medical need, different challenge, and she's like, how is she going to find a shidduch? And I was telling her that I have a similar to what she was telling me. I also experienced that, and we have it, and I'm still married. That it's possible, and like marriages could work even if you have different medical differences, and you think like, oh, but how I'm going to find that person who's going to accept me, with my disability? Like nobody's going to accept somebody with this issue, with this disability, with this difference. And I was telling her, like, I'm telling you, somehow there is somebody who's going to want to marry you, who's going to respect you and appreciate you, even, and have loving, and want to have a marriage with you, even if you're missing or don't have a specific capability.
Yeah. And as you're talking, something's crossing my mind. We're all imperfect. We all have characteristics that can be irritating, annoying, difficult to live with. And when it comes to a person in a relationship, we need to accept the parts that are ugly, uncomfortable, annoying, that we really don't like, in order for there to be harmony. A mental, emotional, characteristical, I made up that word, aspect of someone that's challenging is also like a physical or medical challenge
everyone has parts of them that we need to exercise acceptance with in order to have harmony. Some are more obvious, some are more hidden. Some you know in advance, some you find out along the way.
Even some happen along the way. Not guaranteed that's anything.
Correct. And it's just a unique perspective shift.
Yeah. And the beauty about like when I went out with Avrumi was like I felt this peace and acceptance. Like he accepted me like with everything that you could see. Of course, afterwards he found out other of course there's more characteristics and things that you have to live with that a person has. But like I felt, that's, the key of acceptance of the whole person.
Yeah.
And that felt very peaceful.
So powerful. And in relation to what you said before, that's the purpose of this podcast, is to alleviate loneliness through reflecting evidence of people that have been there and now are through it. I think stories give us the greatest source of strength to see people that you can relate to that have been there. And I hope that anyone that can relate to any piece of this episode feels that hope that not only is there someone out there for you, handpicked by Hashem, but it will be someone that you'll love, that you'll build a beautiful family with every strength, weakness, challenge, anything that comes along with the package. It's there, like you said, Avrumi, because that's what the other partner is going to appreciate in you. That's what you want from the other person. And this has been very inspiring for me. So thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much for sharing your story of hope.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Hope we can, yeah.
Oh, and actually on one more note, do you often have calls from people that are in shidduchim that have some sort of physical disability or any other challenge because they think you might know someone that can help?
Yeah, after we get married, we get a lot of phone calls. Even now, we still get phone calls. My mother gets phone calls. If we know shidduchim that deal with people who have physical challenges. If I know, like if they ask me about a girl, if Avrumi knows a boy for them. We set up a few people, but nothing really happened. But we're always thinking about our friends, and we're shooting ideas.
So if anyone's listening and they think that maybe you can help them, can they connect to you? And we'll put your email address in the link below.
Please, yeah, we'll be very happy to speak to them.
Okay, beautiful. Let's make a story of hope couple. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching another episode of Stories of Hope. If you loved this episode as much as I did, please let us know in the comments section below. If you think you might be a good fit for our next episode and you're thinking of coming on, even if you're hesitant, we can have a conversation about it. Email me at soh@meaningfulminute.org. Thank you to our viewers, subscribers, and everyone who's a part of the SOH community. We can't do it without you. See you next week.